Hey guys, it's Jean-Claude. We are back with this starter set. We're going on to deck number 2. Yesterday's deck was really interesting to me. Had so many ways to play cards out of house or just kind of get through your deck a little bit quicker, whether it's through Igor or the Sanitation Guardian might have been its name. It's one where whenever you reap, you discard a card from your hand, so it just helps you dig that much further into your deck. Alright, so we have a purple Archon, it looks like. And I still haven't seen Star Alliance. I just made a comment about it earlier, so I hope we can find it today. That'd be pretty amazing. Dis, looked like we saw Brobnar. And the last house, Untamed. Clyde, governor of the Wimpy Bridge. One car on it, it is going to collapse. It is the weakest bridge out there. Cool looking Archon, like the wings in the back, but let's get right to the cards. I've heard that Disc can be very powerful in this set, so I'm looking forward to seeing what we can find here. And if this is your first time here, or maybe you've been here a couple times, if you haven't subscribed yet, I'd really appreciate it if you could do that. Helps get the channel out there to more people, and you get to see more Keyforge content. I mean, it's a win-win for everyone involved. Alright guys, we're starting off with Untamed. It's Toad. 1 power, Toad cannot reap. What? Okay, hold on. Worlds Collide has been so good, and now I see Toad. Okay, so you're gonna, I guess, fight with this guy and do 1 damage. That is it. I don't know what else you're gonna do with a Toad. Alright, Xenos Blood Shadow. It's 4 power, elusive, hazardous, 6. Oh my gosh, that just kills off so many creatures. Poison and skirmish. What is this thing? This is the craziest card. Look at all these keywords, and it's just so big. You need at least a 7 power creature just to try and survive to get into this, otherwise it dies immediately. You can kill off any creature with poison and skirmish, because I don't know of any creature that has 4 armor. I mean, I guess Ward would do it, but wow! They almost should have put Assault 1 on this, just to really guarantee that it could kill anything at any point. This is insane, and it's also so hard to get off the board, besides the hazardous 6 because of the elusive. For not having a reap effect, this might be one of the best creatures I've seen. This is amazing. Wild Spirit, it's an upgrade. Amber, have you played? This creature gains reap. Capture 1. Oh, what a great target we have right here with that witch. Mimicry, when you play this card, treat it as a copy of an action card in your opponent's discard pile. Easily one of the best cards in the game. Happy to see it in here. Camouflage, upgrade. Amber, have you played? Creatures not on a flank cannot fight this creature. We have another way to protect that witch. Sanity. Tantadilin is 9 power, only deals 2 damage when fighting. Fight, discard a random card from your opponent's archives. I haven't seen enough of Logos in this set to know just how much archive they have, but I know this is really good against AoE. Rust Naur's 4 power, fight, destroy an artifact. If that artifact had an amber bonus, you gained that much amber. Good card. And another one of those. And a third Rust Naur. It's a good card, but I don't know if I necessarily want 3 in one deck. Oh, Key Charge, lose 1 amber. If you do, you may forge key at current cost. Key cheats are very important in Keyforge. Deep Wood Druid. It's darker than I'm used to seeing for Keyforge art. Deploy, so that means you can go anywhere in your battle line. Play Reap, fully heal a neighboring creature. Whoa, okay. I'm happy to see Deploy made a return in this set, and that is a really cool effect. Put this next to a taunt character. It's probably already taken some damage. Heal it up, and then always be able to heal it on future turns is a really neat effect. Cauldron Boil, Amber, whenever you play it. Deal damage to each creature equal to the amount of damage on that creature. Okay, that's an interesting effect. I like that. Now we're on to Dis, Lord Invidious, 5 power elusive. While Lord Invidious is in the center of your battle line, it gains Reap. Take control of an enemy flank creature and exhaust it. While under your control, it belongs to House Dis. Whoa, okay, I don't think we're going to see any taunts in this deck because we're talking Dis, Brobnar, Untamed. We already went through Untamed. We have no taunts. But this card, that is an absolutely absurd effect. Constantly being able to take your opponent's creatures. We have not seen that yet in Keyforge, and this is a really amazing card. Eater of the Dead, 4 power, fight, reap, purge a creature from a discard pile. If you do, you put a +1 power counter on Eater of the Dead. This card was in the first 2 sets, and I've always been a big fan of it. Soul Keeper, it's an upgrade. Amber, have you played? This creature gains Destroy. Destroy the most powerful enemy creature. The Evil Eye. Amber whenever you play it. Keys cost +3 Amber during your opponent's next turn. So it's not as good as Lash of Broken Dreams, and it's also better than Lash of Broken Dreams. So Lash of Broken Dreams, you can use it over and over, which makes it really good. But this one is a one-time use. You get an Amber whenever you play it, and you can use it immediately. So there's a good trade-off there. I think it's a good card. Misery Exploit, gain 1 Amber for each damaged enemy creature. It's good. And a second Misery Exploit. Inspector, 2 power, destroyed. Purge a random card from your opponent's hand. Purge has such a big impact on the game, and having it on this creature is really good. I love that it can just mess up your opponent's game plans. That's a very neat card, and I like that artwork. That is pretty cool. And we have a second Inspector. Harbinger of Doom, 2 power, 3 armor. When it's destroyed, destroy each creature. Interesting. So it's a big board wipe as long as your opponent has a bigger creature that you can take care of it, or maybe you have something that will destroy it. I don't see anything that we have so far that can just destroy this guy without our opponent having a large creature, but we'll see what's inside the rest of this. Festering Touch, Amber whenever you play it, choose up to 2 creatures. Deal 1 damage to each chosen creature. If that creature was already damaged, deal 3 damage instead. So 1 damage to creatures isn't necessarily that good. There's very few creatures that are only 1 power. I guess we could do it to our Toad. Not that we would want to. But the fact that this thing can do up to 6 damage to already damaged creatures is a really powerful effect. I do like it. I guess worst case scenario, we can still pair this up with Misery Exploit to be able to damage some creatures. Even though it doesn't kill them, we can use Misery Exploit to then get some additional Amber, so that's a pretty good combo at least. Dendrix is 5 power. Fight. Your opponent discards a random card from their hand. Man, I know the first deck we opened had Shadows, and suddenly it seemed like discarding cards was a theme in there, but this is really cool. We have it also in Disc now. We have the 2 Inspectors that are getting rid of cards from our opponent's hands. I love this angle of attack. This is a really neat card. Binding Irons. Your opponent gains 3 chains. It's a good card. Now we're on to Brobnar Ogopogo. He's 6 power. After Ogopogo attacks and destroys a creature, you may deal 2 damage to a creature. Very nice. Little Rapskull, we're familiar with him. 2 power elusive. Creatures must fight when used, if able. Fire Breath. I seem to open this in every deck. It's an upgrade. Amber whenever you play it, this creature gets +3 power and gains before the fight. Deal 2 damage to each neighbor of the creature this creature fights. Very good. Flame Wake Shaman, 4 power, deals 2 damage to a creature. Blood Money, place 2 Amber from the common supply on an enemy creature. Love that card. Warrior's Refrain, Amber whenever you play it. Stun each creature with power 3 or lower. Okay, that's pretty good for Brobnar decks. We did have quite a few smaller creatures in here, though. We had, let's see, well, I guess there's only maybe 2 in Untamed, one of which was Toad. But I know we had a couple inside a disc, the 2 Inspectors, that Harbinger. So our creatures themselves actually didn't have reap effects though, so this is a pretty powerful effect. If our opponent has a deck that's all about smaller creatures reaping that maybe have elusive, we can at least slow them down for a turn. That's pretty good. Stilt Skin is 2 power, Skirmish. After a giant creature is played adjacent to Stilt Skin, ready and fight with Stilt Skin. So it's a pretty good card, being able to constantly pull off some attacks depending on how many giants you have next to it. Spreading out 2 damage each time is a pretty neat effect. And there's a second Stiltkin. Narp. Oh, we saw this guy yesterday. Where are you, Troll? Is that the joke? They're trolling us by not putting Troll in Keyforge decks anymore. Narp is 8 power, 1 armor, and his neighbors cannot reap. Oh, man. Oh, there's a second one. They got me. They got me so good. It's still not a bad card, but it's also not great. Mog Hunter, 6 power, fight, deal 2 damage to a flank creature. And the last card of this deck is Calfine, 5 power. Before the fight, deal 2 damage to each neighbor of the creature Calfine fights. Okay, so there was a decent amount of creatures in here. And now that I'm thinking back, did we have no Amber control? Is that even possible? You know what? We're going to count the amount of Amber we're expecting to gain in the game first, but I have a weird feeling here that our Amber control is going to be either nothing or next to it. So yeah, I don't think there was too much Amber pips as well. We did have a few cards that can gain us a little bit extra Amber, like that Misery Exploit back there. But this was a pretty heavy creature deck, if I'm recalling it correctly, and also upgrades. There was a lot of upgrades in here. Alright, so for actual Amber I expect to gain, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll just call this 1 each for now. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12. 12 is definitely on the lower end of the spectrum. And our top card here might be our only Amber control, and it's not even necessarily that great. It requires a creature, and then we have to be able to reap with it. So Wild Spirit here allows us to reap and capture 1, but is that everything? I'm gonna double check, but I think that's it. Oh, you know what? Actually, there's the The card that's like a one-turn Lash or Broken Dreams, that is kind of Amber Control. We can make them pay 3 more if they get up that large, or at least slow them down for 1 turn. So I guess that is something. Yeah, I don't see anything anywhere else except for maybe the Mimicry. Good chance that ends up being Amber Control in here, because I have a feeling we're going to have to target an Amber Control card with that one. So yeah, we can almost call it 3. I don't even want to call it 3. That is crazy to think this deck has basically no Amber Control. Alright, let's count up the creatures, because that is definitely where I think this deck is going to shine. So let's see here. And the creatures were also powerful, they're big, just great creatures to have on the board and try and take over the board itself, and then own the game just through reaping through them. Even though, oddly enough, we have creatures that cannot reap. We have the 2 Brobnar creatures to make it where its neighbors can't reap, and we have the Toad. Wow, the Toad. We're going to take this Toad right here, we're going to do this. Okay, so he's gone. We'll still count him, though. I don't even know if I want to count him as a creature. I'm not even going to do it. So, 1, 5, 10, 15, 20, 21 creatures. That is a really solid number. I'm even at the point where I don't remember if I counted the Toad. So it could be 22, but that Toad only doing 1 damage. I guess it could help with the card back here that does the additional damage, the Festering Pain, I believe it was called. What was that called? Festering Touch, there it is. So at least we can maybe spread some damage that way, but I don't know. There's a decent amount of hazard in this set. There's Ward. I guess the Toad can take Ward off some creatures. So maybe we can use the Toad in conjunction with this Blood Shadow to take Ward off, then we can for sure kill it with this Xenos Blood Shadow. So that's something, but still, this card is just not going to survive. In a lot of cases, might just turn on some of our opponent's cards like Throwing Stars or whatnot. Let's look at the creatures here, because the creatures are definitely where we're getting our Amber. It's definitely the best part of the deck. So we have 3 different ways to control artifacts. Not too bad. Rustnar's here, pretty nice. Being able to take care of our opponent's archives on a bigger body is pretty good. This Druid is going to be pretty powerful. There's so many cards I want to make sure I heal up to full every turn if possible. The Blood Shadow here, if it took a little bit of damage, I'd like to put it on there. Lord Invidious. Maybe the Eater of the Dead, because it's going to get larger, and I just want to keep it alive to keep getting those purge effects. The Brobnar creatures, of course, are larger, and you want to do that. And Dendrix, too. That is actually really neat, because Dendrix eventually kind of kills itself every time you're trying to use the fight effect here. So to be able to heal it back up after we got that effect so we can maybe take out a 4-power creature and get the effect again is really nice. Brobnar had a couple different ways that we could take out some of our opponent's smaller creatures, like with Ogopogo here, the Flamewake Shaman. Stiltkin can definitely take him out, as well as the Mog Hunter. So that's pretty good. Oh, and Cowfine. I would say we did have an incredible amount of upgrades. I can think of at least 4 upgrades that I had seen, but I want to pull this one up right here, Fire Breath. So the card that we seem to open in every single Worlds Collide deck, I definitely want to get it on something like Lord of Invidious, right? Let's make this an 8-power creature so that it's just more likely to survive and we can actually take more of our opponent's creatures. I don't mind putting on the Blood Shadow. I just want on some of these creatures, I don't think I necessarily want to fight with the creatures. I mean, yeah, you can still use it if you need to, but I just want to make creatures more likely to survive so I can get their amazing effects in here. Putting the Fire Breath on a Stiltkin could be absurd. You're talking 5-power Skirmish with the additional 2 every time, and it's something that if we play a Giant next to, we are just constantly pumping out that damage, controlling our opponent's board, so that is really powerful. Even if we draw into these and we have a Giant also in our hand, doing it all in the same turn is very possible, and that could come out of nowhere to take care of an opponent's maybe opposing Witch or something that you just got to get off the board. So, Amber Control, non-existent in this deck. Amber, a little bit light. Creatures, heavier, and I think that they're worth it. They're pretty powerful. We even, once again, we had that board wipe sort of thing, which I don't think we necessarily want to use. There's a chance, if we can get our board going together, there's a good chance we might just discard this card. So yeah, overall, great board control deck. Seems really powerful for that. And the creatures are big enough to where, after we've controlled the board, we'll still be able to keep them around to reap for future turns. Overall, a pretty nice deck. I think it's... oh man, it's hard to say that this deck is a little bit weaker than what I've seen so far in Worlds Collide, but I think it is, even though it has these absolutely incredible cards inside of there, that it's very much possible that in the future we're going to open up a deck that also has those cards, but it's going to just be better set up to win the game. I look forward to the next time we open up Lord Invidious. That is such a cool card. Alright guys, thank you very much for watching my videos, and I will see you next time.